So good morning. Welcome back to Central Ontario. We got a pretty miserable day here, so I think I'm going to take you inside for a change. Many years ago when we got this place, I was that guy that said to my wife and my daughters, you know, we've got a beautiful place up in the forest. It's far away from everything. It's kind of isolated. I don't want any satellite or TV or internet or anything. I just want to be able to head up there with you guys, hang out and enjoy the outdoors. And of course, as the years progressed, you know, whether it was my wife or one of my daughters saying, you know, geez, it'd be really nice if we had TV once in a while, watch a movie at night. Or we had internet because, you know, I've got a school project due and I can't go up because I'm not connected. Or the classic, you leave work early on a Friday, you get about halfway here, the phone rings, it's your boss, and he's reminding you to make sure that report gets to him by 5 o'clock, and you didn't bring your computer because you have no internet. At the end of the day, over a few years, you finally give in a little bit, and I've got a connected cabin now. So if you have electricity at your cottage or your cabin, come on in, I'll show you what I've got connected, and I'll tell you how much it cost me, because things have really come down a lot in price. Cheers. Step one, you got to get connected. I had no interest in having one of those big all-you-can-eat plans up here at the cottage, but I did want to have some basic internet. So I did a lot of research several years ago, found out that out of the 4 or 5 cell phone providers that provide coverage through this region, 2 of them had what they call a metered internet service. And they have different brand names for them, but one is still to this day prohibitively expensive. I just checked a couple of days ago before I did this video. And this service here that I've had now for years is called MiFi 2, and it's provisioned by a company called Bell Canada, Ma Bell. It's a pretty cool service. What they do is they take a cell phone signal, they put it through a router, and it turns it into a local Wi-Fi network for the cottage. And it's a great service because it's metered. The base plan is only $10 a month, and that's it, 10 bucks. You don't pay for the router, go on a 2-year contract, pay 10 bucks plus tax a month, and you get 100 megabytes of data. And if all you really need the internet for is for signaling, maybe some smart home devices, you know, doing a little bit of internet or email while you're up here, it's a great service. Because the nice thing about it is that if you exceed your base plan limit, it'll actually send you an email and let you know, and you have a choice to either allow it to bump to the next level, or the level after that, or the level above, or you can just leave it there. You're also able online to manage or watch the usage that you have on it, so you can make sure you don't go over the 100 megabytes. But as we go through a couple other things I'm about to show you that I have connected into this cabin, you'll see that the 100 megabyte base $10 a month service is more than enough for what you need. And it's very simple. You pick it up, you go to the store, they give you this router, come up to the cabin, put the router in, plug it into the wall, and about a minute later you have a Wi-Fi. And that's it. They start billing you. Want to step it up a notch? Let me show you something else. So now that I'm connected, smart home devices, or what they call smart home switches or smart home plugs, or all kinds of other different devices are now interconnected or part of the IoT, or the Internet of Things, as you folks have probably heard. We're about a mile off the road, as you know, so anytime I come up here, 9 times out of 10 I'm coming up here in the dark. And for years I'd come down through the forest, pitch dark cabin, pitch dark inside, pitch dark outside. So some time ago, about a year ago, for about 50 bucks, I picked up what's called a smart switch. And I installed a great unit. It's made by a company called Belkin. It's part of their Wemo brand. And it's a switch. You pull it apart, turn the electricity off. If you've got, you know, if you're electrically inclined, put it in yourself. It was pretty easy. You pop it in. You can turn it on from here, and you'll probably see the little light comes on. Or I can turn the light off. And what I did is I hooked it up to my outside lights. It comes with a great app that's on your phone. And as I come up to the gate at the road, before I come down now, all I do is I take my phone out, open the app, and I click the lights, and I've now been able to turn on all the outside lights. Why is that important? Because we got a lot of bear, we got fox, we got coyotes, and we have wolves up here. And a lot of times my daughters will come up with their friends for a weekend, or my wife and my daughters will come up ahead of me because I might be late at work. And I feel a lot better knowing that they're coming into a lit house and not coming into the pitch dark. 50 bucks, easy to install, and it's simple. And now that you're connected, this thing uses virtually no data because it's just signaling. There's no big dumps of video or anything. So that base 100 megabyte service is more than enough to run these things. Want to step it up again? Let's take a look at the next thing. So carrying on the same theme, I've got the lights on the outside that I could turn on remotely. That way I know my wife or my daughters or myself are now not coming into a pitch dark house. On the inside of the house, they've got a great product called Smart Plugs, and these have come way down in price over the last few years. I got this 2-pack for $44.99, and they actually sell them individually for $24.99. They're great units, free service, same thing as the ones outside. They come with a little app for your phone, and all you do is you plug them in. It takes 3 simple steps. Put the app on your phone, signal it, catches the Wi-Fi, it's connected, and that's it. And what you can do is you plug these into your outlet, and you plug your light or whatever else you want into the switch. Simple, easy. So now when I'm coming up at the gate, or if I know my wife's coming up, I just go on my app on the phone, I click one plug, turns on the outside lights, and I click one light for the inside of the cottage. Little shout out to one of our subscribers, Larry, thank you very much. He put a comment on one of the videos and talked about these smart plugs that he's got from TP-Link is the name of the company. And it's the HS105 model. Great plugs. I've been using them now for almost 2 months. Hasn't been a long time, but they have not once lost connectivity. Every time I've signaled them, they signal right away and turn on right away, and they turn off right away. And so far, really happy with this purchase. So if you're looking for them, $24.95 at your big box store Canadian, or you can get a 2-pack right now for $44.99. Great plugs, simple to put in, and keeps you out of the dark. Did you want to step it up again? Follow me down the hall. So you've heard me talk about it probably 30, 40 videos ago. I talked about some of my favorite things at the house, and one of them was a Nest Protect. It's made by Nest. It's a CO2 and a smoke detector all in one, but again, it's a connected device, connects to an app on your phone, and what's really nice about it is that it will constantly monitor your cabin or your cottage, and if it ever senses smoke or, say you've got a propane leak, it will immediately notify you on the phone. Now these things are about $125 at a big box store Canadian, but well worth it. That unit I just showed you is just my regular CO2. I've actually bought one for the cottage, I just haven't got around to installing it yet. But it fits basically either into any pre-wired outlet, or you can also buy a battery version if you don't have a pre-wired outlet for your CO2 detector. But great unit, that way when you're away from the cottage, again, now that you're connected, you've got signaling. So if something happens and you're not here, it'll signal you on your phone, and that way you either call the emergency service or you call a neighbor down the road, ask them to check out your cabin. Want to step it up a little more? Follow me to the wall. Okay, so I'm getting a little bit lazy in my old age. Was time when part of the mystique or the excitement or the experience of coming up to the cabin in the wintertime is you knew it was going to be freezing cold in here, and you were going to have to take a few hours to get the furnace going or the heat going in some way or another. As I've gotten a little older, a little bit of comfort kind of creeps in, and I picked up a Wi-Fi thermostat for my furnace. This is an EcoBlade. This is actually a very old model. I've had this for years and it still works great. Again, connects through, signals through your internet connection, and has a free app on your phone. So now when I'm starting on my way up to the cabin each week, all I do is I go on my phone, turn the heat up, and when I get here, it's nice and toasty warm. This will run you a little bit more. These are a little more expensive. You're probably looking in the $200 to $400 range depending on what type of Wi-Fi thermostat you get. But if you've got a furnace or certain types of boilers, they work great. One of the added benefits of having a Wi-Fi thermostat at your cabin, I'm sure we've all done it because I've done it a ton of times. You're out there, you're getting the family all ready to go, you're heading home, and sometime on the way home it hits you. You think, did I ever turn the heat off before I left? And if you live up north, electricity rates are ridiculous up here. I'm off grid, but it still doesn't matter. It's a cost. And the last thing you want to do is leave the heat turned up for 1 or 2 or 3 weeks before the next time you come up, because it's costly. With a Wi-Fi thermostat, you just check your phone, go on the app. If you didn't turn it down, you can turn it down remotely. And if you did, at least you know as you're driving along, yeah, I turned it down, everything's good. Want to kick it up another notch? Follow me down the hall. So you've probably seen one of these cameras sitting in the window outside in the background of a shot when I've been videoing the tractor. These are security cameras, and there's a whole bunch of them on the market these days, and they've come way down in price. This is an old Nest cam. I've had it for years. Great camera. Same thing, connects to the cellular Wi-Fi service. It doesn't use up a lot of data when you just check it for a few minutes, but if you left this thing on all the time, you would have a horrendous bill. But the nice thing about having these up here is that they're connected now, so once a day or once every couple of days, I can just go on an app on my phone, again, free app, click on the camera, and it turns on remotely, and I can take a look in the cabin or outside, make sure I'm happy, everything looks good, and I turn it off again. If you had a much more robust internet service, or at home you've got all you can eat internet, you can leave these things on all the time because it doesn't matter. Up here, it matters. But it's a great unit, a little bit of peace of mind, same as the Nest Protect. It makes sure that you have some kind of surveillance or monitoring on your cabin when you're away. Great unit. Alright, so you probably heard about one of these. This is the Amazon Echo Dot, and Google's got a unit called a Google Home, I believe. These are now about $39.99 at any big box store, and again, does not use any data except for some small signaling unless you're trying to stream music through it or something. But it's pretty handy because all of the items that I've shown you so far connect up through this, so you've actually got even a better remote access to it. The nice thing about this unit, which I found really handy, is that I've got a unit at my house in the city as well. And believe it or not, I can be at my house in the city and tell the cottage light to turn on. And somehow this dot talks to the one down in the city and it turns on the cottage lights. I can tell it to turn up the thermostat here from the house down in the city. And on top of that, I can do it vice versa. So if we're up here, my wife and my kids and I are up here, and perhaps we didn't put a timer or we didn't turn on the outside lights before we left, I can talk to my Alexa unit from here and tell it to turn my outside lights on at the house down in the city. Not bad for 39 bucks. Want to turn it up another notch? Let's go over to the fireplace. So you can see I finally caved to the pressure of my wife and my daughters. I did pick up a cheap TV a while back. Also picked up a cheap DVD player because we've got a bunch of movies and all. But at least now when you're hanging out and you've got a rainy weekend or you've been outside all day and everybody just wants to sit together and watch a movie, I can do that now. Nice thing about being connected, even though it's a metered service, is that if you've got, an Amazon Fire Stick or one of those Google Chrome devices, I think they call it, the little dongle that sticks in the back, or you've got an Apple TV unit, now you're connected. So if you got all your friends up for the weekend and there's a hockey game on Saturday night and you want to spend the 20 bucks it's going to cost to stream that hockey game, now you can do it because you've got an internet connection and it's high speed. If my wife's up with her friends or my daughter's up with theirs and they want to spend a little money to watch something on TV together, it's a discretionary spend and you can choose to do it or not, but at least you have the choice. Let's wrap this up. Okay, well there's the connected cabin. I hope it's been informative or helpful. As you can see, a lot of these smart home devices have really come down a lot in price. There's a couple of things, the thermostat, the camera, that kind of thing. They're still a little expensive, but just to get a little peace of mind, especially if my daughters are down on their own or my wife is, to be able to know that we can turn the lights on remotely so that they're not coming into pitch dark means a lot. It's a little bit of peace of mind. And it's nice being able to have a little bit of internet data usage, so if you do need to send off an email or check your emails over the weekend or when you're up on vacation or hanging out at the cottage, you have the ability to do it now. So thanks for sticking around. If you like the channel, please click subscribe, hit the like button, and if you want to know when I'm posting videos, just click that little bell. Have a wonderful week. We'll see you again on the next one. Cheers.